America.com and the director of the Oregon Short Film Festival. We have an event coming up on Friday, October the 14th. And at that event at the Clinton Street Theater, we'll be streaming all kinds of films that all genres, all categories that you can imagine, from animated to science fiction to drama. And of course, we got to have a little bit of comedy. And here we have the director and producer from the Selects, director Nikki Flinn, and also actors both, Myhraliza, Aala. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time today.
Thanks so much for having us.
No worries. And congrats on being nominated for the Best Comedy Film Award. That's quite the accomplishment.
Yes, we're super honored. Thank you.
I was going to say, yeah.
No worries. Everyone's like waiting to answer. It's okay. You can just chime in. You're all right. Well, let's get into it. I do not want to give the synopsis of the film away. I'm going to let one of you define it. But before I do that, I do want to say just some of the positive and glowing things that the judges had to say about your film. The first thing that jumped off is it just looked like, I got several comments from the judges where it looked like everyone during the production was having just as much fun in front of the camera as they were behind the camera, right? It really seemed like everybody enjoyed it. Everyone was trying to do something that was really fun and light and just really push the funny bone, which is great. And I also got a lot of compliments just about the chemistry, just the naturalness of the dialogue, just everyone's delivery. And it just seemed from the outside looking in, we don't have inside information, but it seemed like from the outside looking in that just everybody was having fun. And that's the product that you produced. It's a very easy choice for Best Comedy Film as a finalist, and a very high rated film. And I really didn't see any bad or negative comments about your film at all. So you make us look good. You're bringing something that's a refreshing and great project to the festival. But can you tell us what it's about? Because I don't want to give away the end. So go for it.
Well, this is kind of what happens or has happened, possibly happening in Hollywood, and we wanted to give a comedic lens from a female perspective of objectifying and playing by the male rules.
Okay. Well, you accomplished that for sure. I think you translated that message very, very clearly. So well executed by yourselves. Nikki, can you tell us a little bit about this project? Why did you choose? And you wear a lot of hats, obviously, when you produce something like this. But as a director, when you looked at this project, why spend your time, effort, and energy on this?
I agree. We needed comedy. I mean, we all like to laugh. And this is something where, these things happen in Hollywood, and with the Me Too movement going on, like shedding light on this stuff. It was like, why not? Why not look at this and hold a magnifying glass up to this and be able to find some humor on it, but also at the same time saying, this goes on. Let's not ignore it. Let's not sweep it under the rug, and let's actually put it out there and have some commentary on it. And start and to do comedy. I mean, like, to work on the pacing and to try to figure out, which bits of pieces and lines to keep and how to be sort of outrageous, but also have a grain of truth into some of this. Like, it was a lot of fun in that way, and like trying to find that balance and honoring women, like women and all of the crazy things that are involved in this line of work, flipping the script on that and having fun and being, as the theme song says, badass bitches, I mean, really, like, it's a great opportunity, and creating our own content. That's a huge thing, because, if we just waited around to get cast in things and that was the only thing we were focused on, like, how would we be able to be artists? So, like, to create our own content, put our own passions into things and put our own ideas into it, and be able to make that come to light and follow those dreams in that way. It feels like we're working as artists so much more and having a say on what we want to see put it out there. So, yeah,
Really, it's the same. That's awesome. Well, you accomplished what you were set out to do. Producing content, your own content, is definitely a way to get yourself, especially if you're trying to, if acting is your focus. And with you, Nikki, after seeing this, I hope directing is your focus as well. And I know it's hard to do both, but you're very good at the directing part.
Thank
And
you, Michael, very
you
much.
know, and I think that your acting chops are there. You've got this base that you can work off of, knowing what it's like to be on set, what it's like to be on location, and just organize something into a creative package that people are going to like on the outside. And it's, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how someone can be in front of the camera, behind the camera. When I was in the industry, I was a sound guy, and now being in front of the camera to do these interviews is always kind of nerve-wracking for me. But to wear that many hats, it's hats off to you. Very, very good work. And I'm going to ask Myhraliza the same question, because you produce a lot more content than most people do. You are a production factory up here. So, we see your work, and we see you for 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, but it just seems like you're working on this year round. You're in front of the camera, you're behind the camera, trying to make things happen. Why the selects? What is it about the selects that made you say, this is a story we have to tell?
When we wrapped Oh My Dating Hell, I had just also wrapped Front Porches with Katie, and I went over to her house, and we got this producing bug. We got this bug to write and create, and we were talking about something someone said on one of the sets. And I said, you know what? We really need to flip the script. Let's write something that, puts attention on this because of how we've felt in certain situations. And so we just kind of started spitballing, and I said, you know what? We could do this in March. And so I'm the type of person that says, even though the timeline is crazy, like we thought about this in December, and I said, we could do this. We can write it. We'll bring Nikki on, and we'll make it in March, because we were thinking of all of our other conflicts later on. And what's great about Katie is, and how she propelled her Front Porches, I was like, yeah, we can do this in 2 months. And even though that some people, I know that I have a friend who's like, there's not enough time. I'm from the lens of, especially during the pandemic, like life is too short. And if you have something, I waited that Oh My Dating Hell, I think it was 5 years before I had the guts to put something out there. And the only reason why I did was because I got a grant. And so since then, and because of the pandemic, I've been wanting to focus on humor. My first project, like you said, can be really heavy. And I said, you know what? We need some laughs. We need to write something funny. And I realized that, I have kind of a knack for writing comedy.
I think it's when you create situations, and this is really for both of you, when you create this situation, and I don't want to go into too much detail. I don't like giving away parts of the film, but you're in this like audition setting where you're like behind the table kind of thing. And that is probably, the biggest fear factor of any actor, is to walk in an audition in front of people who are just like, go, but you brought something to, it felt like I was there. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It felt like I was there, and I felt almost embarrassed for the situation, because I've seen it turn around the other way. Nikki, let's talk about, what did you learn from this production? You got something very authentic looking here. Like, it didn't feel like you're watching a movie. It feels like you're watching a real situation. But making that happen is, sometimes more difficult than watching the final product. What did you learn during this production?
Oh my gosh, I learned a lot. There's the ideal, and there's the wish list of things, and then there's the actually happen in the universe at that moment, for that second in time. And it was really cool to learn how, these ideal shots and ideas would be able to be problem solved in a way where we could at least get an essence of what we were going for. when we had to slice so much down to the very minimal, how with effective problem solving and creativity, we could still get the general vibe of what was wished for. And I mean, just learning about how the collaborative sense of everyone's expertise lifting up and being able to come together in a way where the magic happens, and happy accidents, and through not being able to do certain things, how something emerges and it can be something to lock onto, and it's lifting in a way that, oh wow, what a nice surprise. And just understanding like how these elements can, like, I mean, how all these elements can affect it in a way that comes together, like, you know, the music, the editing, the lights, the way something is placed, the intonation of a word, like a pacing moment, a fast clip. I mean, I'm just in love with all of that, and getting to work with a crew and just a well-oiled machine of all the people there ready to put their heart into it and work very hard, was really humbling to be a part of that. And I hope that answers your question. Sorry.
It does. You know, and what about you, Myhraliza? What you've gone through the war, you've gone through the fire a few times, obviously with a few productions, but I feel like everyone teaches you something. What'd you learn on this one?
Yes, every production I felt like I've learned on every set to level up certain areas. And so, and also creating the vibe that we really want, you know, like we would never have had to, like, luckily we found Tendu because it was a very high level location that projected that we could be in LA. And we had to spend some money. And so really, if you want to make something reality, you need to invest in the things that will reflect that. You can't shortchange certain areas. The other thing that I learned is, you know, we also have to be cognizant, as much as we want something to happen. I also am very much, as a producer, looking out for the people that are working on our set. You know, we're low budget, and I don't want to be one of those people that, you know, and sometimes I had to pull down the reins. I'm like, you know, we're going over time and we just need to take this shot. And so it's a balance of trying to, you know, I'm acting in it. It's a balance of wanting to make this the best possible, but also not overworking our actors and our crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a seasoned vet now. You're seeing the whole picture. You know, it's a lot of times, you know, I've been on shoots where they just burn the crew out, you know, until someone finally, you know, some representative from the crew comes up and says, "Hey, we're tired," you know. And being able to recognize that before it's a problem is a very advanced producer position.
Well, and the thing is that they were willing to do it. And I just said, I don't want to be known as the person that's saying we ran a long production. As an actor myself, I need some rest. And so in order to be creative.
Sure. Well, let's move on to some other questions. And I appreciate your time and your transparency with all this. What do you have planned for the future? Is the selects... First, we'll talk about just in terms of the selects, but then, you know, we'll also get to talking about just what you have planned for the future individually. But is the selects a one-off, a series, a proof of concept? Is it done? Where are we at with this? I'll start with you, Nikki.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was the interesting piece about it when we went into this project, because it was the idea of like, how can we make a short film that has a beginning, middle, and end to it, but also can kind of offer a situation of a journey that these folks are going to embark on. And so if it was to be a starting off point on a continued piece in some way, almost as if it's a pilot, but we want to be able to have a piece in itself as well. And so it was kind of looking at all of that, you know, how can this be a piece, but also have trajectory. And so for me, like when I was working on it, I had to write a story Bible for myself so I could really understand where I would visualize like this going and down the line. And that was just really helpful for me as being new to this and being new to writing and understanding character development or even how a story is kind of pieced together and what would make sense. Why would people care? Anyways, I'll pass to Myhraliza.
Right. Yeah, Myhraliza, what is it with this particular one with the selects? Is there a future to this? Is there chapter 2? Do you feel like it's done?
We want to see how it goes in the film festival circuit. We did create it as a proof of concept for a possible feature. And like Nikki said, we wanted to see if it could stand alone and see how it would be received. And so, we're just thrilled that you and the panel received it so well, and we're excited to see how it goes. As of right now, there's no plans to bridge off of it, but it was developed as a proof of concept for a possible feature. And we'll, shorts take a lot of time and money. And so to think of a feature, like if someone picks it up and Netflix comes to me and said, hey, we want to, buy this, of course we'll say yes, we'll make it. But to do it individually, independently, a feature it seems very daunting to me.
Well, I'll stay with you on this one. What do you have planned for the future, just on a personal level? What else do you have planned?
One, I'm in LA, and so I'm planning. I've been working on this content and hoping that Oh My Dating Hell, we're going into filming episode 4. Episode 3 is now in the film festival circuit. I would like to have a 6-episode series to possibly pitch to streaming services. I have another short that is a comedy about a little girl growing up in Indiana. And so wanting to find funding and build upon that. But also at the same time, and this is all while trying to build a career in Los Angeles and be in breakout roles, coming up. And hopefully I've been doing well in terms of commercials, but really, really wanting to get into the industry and break out into some shows. I would love to be on a Shondaland series. That's the goal, is to be in Shondaland. But that's what I'm working on so far.
I can see it. And Nikki, what about you?
I'm pretty stoked. I was a lead in a feature, and it's coming out soon, called Punched After the Fact. I am working on a collaborative photo shoot coming up that kind of looks at the feminine perspective in some interesting ways, and so it'll be a challenge for me personally. And and I'm working on a feature screenplay. I did a sort of workshop of a shorter piece of it, and it continues. So that's kind of a main focus, and then being an actor and all of that as well. And so, yeah.
All right. Well, wow, you got a lot going on. You've created great product, just great team. Shout out to your whole team for this. Can't wait to show this at Clinton Street Theater. You make us look good with great productions. Thank you for being the comedy lifeline of our festival to really brighten things up. We're looking forward to it. Is there anything else that you wanted to add before we go?
I just want to say thank you so much, Michael, receiving us and inviting us to do this interview and welcoming us into the festival. And it's an honor. And I appreciate you laughing at our ideas. That's really special to create something as a group and for others to enjoy it and laugh. I mean, that's a gift. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
And also on behalf of the cast and crew, and on behalf of Katie, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, who is also one of our collaborators. Michael, you and the Oregon Short Fest and the Portland Comedy have been so good to us. So it's such an honor to be coming back with another comedic short. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Exciting times. I appreciate the kind words, and yeah, I love having your cast and crew there. Everybody's just so friendly and so warm, and it really, just really great to have you there at the fest. If there's anything I can ever do to help, if you're ever crowdfunding for a feature or something like that, and you want to do another interview, just let me know, and we'll set it up. All right.
Awesome.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting times, and Clinton Street's a great venue. We appreciate them, and fun times ahead. I'll see you at the festival.
Thank you.
Thank you.